Hello, my name is Farhin Mallik, and I will be presenting on the environmental disaster that occurred in Niagara Falls, New York. First, I will provide some context on what happened in the neighborhood of Love Canal, Niagara Falls. Then, I will provide 5 graphics that display the circumstances and effects of the environmental disaster, such as discovery of the disaster, the predominant waste that filled Love Canal, the 10 compounds that were found in homes, comparison of air samples from different areas in the neighborhood, and expected versus observed numbers of miscarriages. Finally, I will summarize and reveal whether this disaster was resolved or not. What happened in Niagara Falls, New York? In 1890, an idea to make a canal was proposed by William T. Love. This canal was to connect upper and lower Niagara rivers. The idea was that it would allow hydroelectric power to be generated. However, due to fluctuations in the economy, the project could no longer be funded and the Love Canal was abandoned, unfinished. In 1920, the Hooker Chemical Company bought the canal. This was the early beginnings of America's worst environmental disaster. The canal was used by the company as an industrial dump site for over 82 different compounds, and 11 of them at the time were suspected carcinogens. In 1953, the company sold the land for exactly $1 after covering the canal with dirt. Ignorant to the poison leaching into the area, over 100 homes and even a school was built on the property. Thus, the Love Canal neighborhood was formed. Discovery of the disaster. In 1977, there was elevation of contaminants from the chemical dump site into the community. Prior to this disaster, there was a clay cover on the canal, which was used as a barrier against chemical leakage. This was not monitored or evaluated to ensure safety. In 1977, a heavy rainstorm caused excess water to enter the groundwater. The clay cover, which was incorrectly thought to be impermeable, cracked. Puddles of black sludge and other strange colored liquids began to leak into yards, basements, and public playgrounds. This was caused by the 21,800 tons of residue and byproduct that were leaked. Numerous chemicals, including carcinogens that are known to cause harmful and detrimental effects on human health, were exposed to the people of this neighborhood. Here are some graphics of the neighborhood homes and playgrounds in Love Canal. The predominant waste that filled Love Canal. This table indicates the estimated amounts of chemical disposed in the Love Canal by the Hooker Company. As stated before, there was about 21,800 tons of toxic waste beneath the community. The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, also known as EPA, conducted extensive air, water, and soil sampling in homes and yards throughout the Love Canal neighborhood, after elevation of chemicals caused a federal emergency declaration in May 1980. A combination of these chemicals leaked into the community, causing the health effects that we see later on in this presentation. The EPA began to monitor for compounds in homes. The sampling that was conducted revealed over 80 compounds in the basements of hundreds of homes. Of these compounds showed in the bar graph, tetrachloroethylene was the most abundant as it was found in 93% of sample homes. The primary effects from chronic inhalation exposure are neurological, including impaired cognitive and motor neurobehavioral performance. Tetrachloroethylene exposure may also cause adverse effects in the kidney, liver, immune system, and hematologic system, and on development and reproduction. The EPA classified tetrachloroethylene as likely to be carcinogenic to humans. Comparison of air samples from first 2 rings. These 2 pie charts are a comparison of the air samples from homes directly across the canal, which is known as the first ring, versus home farther away from the canal, known as the second ring. So 55% of Ring 2 homes were free of chemical contamination as compared to only 5% of homes in Ring 1. 30% of Ring 2 homes showed the presence of only 1 chemical as compared to 16% for Ring 1. 15% of Ring 2 homes showed the presence of only 2 chemicals as compared to 40% for Ring 1. And 3% of Ring 2 homes showed the presence of 3 chemicals as compared to 30% for Ring 1. This data indicates that homes in the outlying areas of Love Canal had significantly lower levels of contaminant compared to the first ring of homes. expected versus observed number of miscarriages. Finally, this line graph shows that chemicals from the Love Canal affected the number of miscarriages among residents of the neighborhood. For women of all ages from this community, the odds of having miscarriage was 1.5 times more likely than a woman not living in Love Canal. This line graph demonstrates the higher frequency of miscarriages is more likely in older women. As the chemicals leach from the canal over a period of many years, this suggests that older women living in the canal for the longer period of time have the highest population risk. As you can see, the age group of 35 to 39 were the most likely to have a miscarriage, 2.58 times more likely. Finally, in 1980, the residents of Love Canal were evacuated from the toxic land site. The federal government authorized $20 million of funds for the purchase of homes, allowing the people of Love Canal to move elsewhere. This environmental disaster led to laws being enacted to maintain the disposal of chemical and hazardous waste throughout America. Though considered one of the worst environmental disasters in America, this led to laws being enacted. This legislation was known as the Comprehensive Environmental Response, Compensation and Liability of 1980, also known as the Superfund Law. In 2004, the EPA declared that the site was cleaned and rehabilitated. More than 260 homes were sold to the public, and now a new neighborhood of Love Canal residents live there. We can only hope that this area continues to be safe for the people that live there. Please look at the references as they were very interesting and explained a lot more about the situation.